I was roadie at 15 years old. I get a phone call from the drummer that I worked for. He was recording an album at a place called the Record Plant. And he didn't tell me anything about what it was, just that he forgot a drum. So I said, okay, I do it, you know? I go to the guy's house, I get the drum. It was his best one. And so I go to Manhattan. I walk in, I give my name. I didn't know what studio it was. I didn't even know the name of it, you know? I walk in and so I go to I go to studio A or B, I forget which one it was. I give him the snare. And like any kid at 15 years old, I decided to explore. And I opened up one of the doors and it was a studio. It was a studio, you know, it had to be at least 8 or 10 guitars in the room, all Stratocasters, different colors. You had people speaking English with a London, I would say a London accent in English. And you could hear the voice of Jimi Hendrix. I almost shit my pants. Yeah, it's a Jimi Hendrix. I'm 15 years old, you know? So I'm not gonna go up to the guy and say, hey, Jimmy, what's happening, you know? So I didn't do that. Instead, what I did was I took everything that I could take that wasn't glued down on the table, you know? So that means I took guitar picks, because it was easy, there were guitar picks everywhere. I took guitar picks, and then I had to leave, you know, because everybody's looking at you like, who's this kid, you know? Jimi Hendrix was my hero, you know, that's what made me want to play electric guitars.
Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. Rock me, baby, rock me all night long.
In America, you have luthier, guitar tech. They call me a luthier here, and finally, after many years, I said, okay, I'm a luthier. Yeah, you have to say that in France. If you tell somebody, if you say in France, I'm a guitar tech, they're gonna go, he don't know nothing, this guy. It was challenge, you know, you have a lot of challenge. I took all the jobs that nobody wanted to do, all the shit jobs. And by doing this, you know, people speak, you know, musicians all speak together. It's a circle, you know, you have musicians that all speak together, you know. Okay. So we have a Gibson Les Paul, which I prefer to work on before I start this other. And I remember when the guy came in and bought this thing. So this guy came here, he bought the guitar here. It's beautiful. I asked him if he wanted to sell it. Because it's a really nice guitar. So, for this, I sit down. When I took this job, I made sure I had control. Means I decide the prices, I decide my clients, I decide on the accessories, so I have a lot of freedom. I do exactly how I like. I have no boss, so I have nobody here to say, oh, how long are you going to take to make this guitar? Doesn't freeze. I grew up with music. You know, the whole family, we had a family of Latino musicians. My mother played piano. My grandmother played piano. My uncle played bass. We had a whole family of musicians at home all the time. So that means every time you go visit grandma in Spanish Harlem, the house would be full of musicians. So if the house is full of musicians, it means children are there from these musicians. They have children. All my cousins. And all my cousins, when they start to make a jam, everybody plays something. So if you're a little kid, even if you don't know how to play anything, they give you a bongos, somebody sits with you for a few minutes and says, you do this. Boom, ta, nothing more. Just do that. Then they tell the other guy, you do something else, you do something else. Then the band plays, and you play with the band, you know? And when you're a kid, it's fun. You know, to bang on stuff, it's a blast to make that. You know, it's fun to do that with the kids. So music, that's what it means. I grew up with that. I used to work in my kitchen, believe it or not, in the kitchen. I only work here from 9 o'clock to 12. That's it, okay? You're talking to a musician who's superstitious, so you have a lot of superstition in this business. Good luck charms, good luck charms. Good luck charms are all here. All this is for good luck, believe it or not. And all musicians are like this. They have their favorite mega guitar, or they have something with them, you know, for good luck. I think most musicians, I think, are like this. It's my uncle Louis, or Luisito. And like all musicians, he was completely crazy. But this guy played flamenco guitar, and when he was staying with us, he would repeat 3-4 hours a day, every day. And I'd watch him. It was the first time I ever really saw anybody play a guitar up close. I learned 2 things from this guy. One, how to play. The other thing I learned was fixing the guitars. Because this guy, if he couldn't get a note right, he'd take the whole damn thing apart. And if you're a little kid at 10 years old and you're watching this guy take a guitar apart, you think, my uncle's crazy, right? I have trouble with this. Every time you plug it, you play, it comes out by itself. It's a disaster. Let's see if this thing is ready to go. I think I will cover the guitar. Ah, yeah, fabulous. Okay, this one is good. Put it there. I have to screw the screws back. This is 1973, 1974. The guitar today is worth a fortune. I sold it for nothing, you know, I mean, I was ridiculous. The amplifier belonged to Bill Wyman of the Rolling Stones, huh? Bill Wyman, I got the amp. I destroyed it. I took it apart, I destroyed it. Because I didn't know the value of this. I really did. If I would have known that today, when I look at the photo, I think, what an idiot, you know? I destroyed and the guitar I sold, another ridiculous thing. But you know, when you're a guitar player, you do this, you know, you don't think about the value of this. I never thought about the value of this. You have a lot of really, really valuable guitars, and a luthier knows the value of these things. And they keep it. They take the piece off, they never give it back, you know? And this is really a crime. Had a guy come in with a 1962 Stratocaster, huh? Original, completely original. I was so surprised. I got his permission with him there. I took the whole guitar apart. The neck had the date on it, 1962. The micros were signed. They had the date on it. The potard, all original thing. And after taking it apart, I said, you know, this guitar is 20,000 euro. And it's dangerous that. You bring that to a luthier who's not honest, You know, oh yeah, I give you 400 euro for it. It's okay. It's junk. It's not good anymore. You know. It's one of the best bands I had when I started to play in Detroit. The girl I was living with, cousin, played guitar. So she said to me, my cousin plays guitar. I'm going to introduce you to him. And so I got together with this guy. We put together a band, and it worked really great. Plus, the guys in the band were some of my best friends. And the Generators, I forget how we get this damn name. We thought of everything ridiculous. And we ended up with the Generators because nobody had that name, you know, nobody had it. When I left the band, you could see the guy here. He gave me an album, a bootleg, a really good bootleg of the Rolling Stones, a record I always loved. I always go to his house, they play that, you know. He gave it to me and signed it. This is for the best 2 years that we ever had together, you know. Oh, Frank, he fell down. Not good. That might be a bad omen, you know. This was a great man, Frank Chebal. He made the guitars for Johnny Hallyday, Francis Gabb, and many other stars in Paris. And he was the nicest luthier. He allowed me to come in, see how he worked. He explained a lot of things to me, how he learned, how he got started, and how he learned. And he was the guy that just told me to go and do it on your own. You know, don't wait for anybody. Just go and do it, make your own thing, and it will work. You know, it takes time. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, my favorite. I met him, and it's 1981 or 82. I got to tune his guitar, give it to him for one night. I made that only one time, and that's it. So I don't know anybody who don't love ZZ Top in France, right? I worked with them for one night. I got a telephone call from a promoter, and he said they need somebody, again, to guard the guitars. You know, I just had to guard the guitars, and this guy travels with a lot of guitars. This is U.P. Wilson of Texas, blues guitarist. This is the guy who taught Stevie Ray Vaughan a lot of tricks, how to play. I met him at the festival, blues festival, Saturday Village. And I asked him to show me a bunch of things on the guitar, naturally, so that's what the photo is. Businessman, maybe director, maybe manager. And he comes to me with this guitar, hand-painted, that he painted when he was maybe 15 or 14 years old. Destroyed guitar. Nothing worked, absolutely nothing worked. And he said, I would love it if you could make this work. I have the micros, I have all the stuff. And I was ready to say, put it on the wall like decoration. It's finished, the guitar is finished. And for some reason I said, yeah, okay, I can understand this. You know, I can understand souvenirs, you know, whatever. He wanted it to work. I told him it's going to be a fortune. And the guy said, I don't care what it costs. I want it to work. This took me 1 week to make this thing work. But the guy was so happy, and I think that's the important thing. The important thing is the customer's happy. Every time you look at this guitar, he's going to think of me, you know?